The Dallas Cowboys are all in this year, or are they? Well, that's the all in is a reference to Jerry Jones' by now famous comment stating that the Cowboys were all in. This, I think, was soon after the end of the last season when they had another disappointing result. Great regular season in terms of winning 12 games, and then, of course, got wildly pummeled by the Green Bay Packers. So, rather disappointing outcome. And, it's at this point, I'd say, the Cowboys and the 49ers and, well, okay, I shouldn't lump them all exactly in the same sort of thing, but essentially, uh, there are a number of teams that have consistently been pretty good, but have not won a Super Bowl in some time. And so it is, there are a number of teams that are like basically more or less garbage, right? Like they're not maybe complete garbage, but they're just not going to win that much. Like I don't think anybody looks at the Giants this year and is like, wow, the Giants are going to make a deep playoff run. Now anything can happen, but that one does not appear to be likely. So if you're a Giants fan, I guess my sympathies to you. Um, but the Cowboys are this are kind of a, they're kind of stuck in being a pretty good team. It seems like they don't, they're not going to win much in the postseason because, well, who knows why? Is it that the defense kind of chokes in the biggest games, or is it that Dak chokes in the biggest games? It's a little hard to say. It doesn't seem like the Cowboys are really good at putting on points on weaker teams. They get out to a quick lead, and they start piling up the points, and first thing Dak is sitting on the sideline, watching Cooper Rush finish out the game, in the fourth quarter or whatever. So the Cowboys are very good at putting on points when they get a lead or when they feel like they're in control. Is what it seems like. However, when they go up against really tough opponents, and then they don't seem to win very many of those games. Now they will once in a while get a great win, so they get maybe a couple of those per season. And I think that the Cowboys' schedule is actually harder this year than it was like last year. So I'm actually happy about that because I would prefer, I think, for the Cowboys to be tested in the regular season more. And because in the postseason, of course, you're only playing basically good teams. Now, of course, some of the divisions are weaker than others. But on the whole, you're playing good teams. And so you do want to be prepared to play good teams and be used to it, right? So I think it's a good thing if we're doing some more of that throughout the year this year. Um, you know, so the way Jerry Jones runs the Cowboys is kind of interesting because they seem to draft pretty well. They have stars that they retain, and they generally seem to end up paying top dollar for them. So they wait until they kind of have to sign them, or not maybe have to. Like they could have waited for Dak until the end of this season, but I think. But they tend to wait a while to sign some of their best players, and then they give them top dollar. And so, it's a little bit mystifying maybe why they take that approach. But anyway, so they seem to draft and operate on the whole a pretty good team. Like since Mike McCarthy's come, they've won 12 games every year, I think. The defense has been ranked, at least the last couple of years, I think it's probably been ranked top 10, maybe better. But, they're kind of one of those teams that seems like they're very crushable by truly great teams. So they're not a truly great team. They're just a team, like I think they scored perhaps the most points of any team last year. So, given the right conditions, they can do really well. But you just don't trust them in big spots, basically. There's Well, that'll be a topic for the next video. But anyway, so the way Jerry Jones runs it, like it's always basically, what we've kind of gotten used to the last couple of years now is we're a very good team in terms of we win. I'll use we, I guess, in terms of we win a lot of games in the regular season. We get to the playoffs every year, and then, if we're lucky or if we're fortunate, we win maybe the wild card round or one playoff game. But after that, usually it's over. We've not been to a championship, like a conference championship or whatever, we've not been to the NFC championship game in a long time. So, well, pretty long time. So anyway, that's this year. Based on their first game with the Browns, it kind of looks to me like once again, kind of like last year, like. Their off-season moves, you're like, meh, why are we not doing something cooler? But, nah, nothing too splashy in the off-season except just getting a few of their guys eventually signed, basically. And so I think it'll be another one of those years. I think they'll be pretty good because Dak's a pretty good quarterback and CeeDee Lamb's a very good receiver and Micah Parsons is usually very good and sometimes kind of disappears maybe. So I think it'll be another good year, and I think probably we'll, maybe win one playoff game, and then we'll be done. So that seems to be the life of a Cowboys fan, and what can you say? I mean, at least I'm not a Panthers fan. Like that's like your consolation, I guess. Now, I mean, being a Chiefs fan, I guess, would be terrific, but I'm not